Hey guys, hooked to our video about Poppy Playtime. This actually came out on August 1st, 2026, but I was kind of busy on that day, so yeah, I didn't get around to reacting to this one. I reacted to some other game theory videos and just haven't gone around to this one, so whatever. It's August, 26th? Well, nearly midnight, so I'm 19, but let's get straight into this, shall we? Why did the prototype save us? Oh, at the end of chapter 5.
Lily Love Braids explains everything. What really happened in Chapter 5 and what exactly the prototype is planning next. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that keeps growing like Lily's hair as long as you subscribe. Yes, hi, hello, it's me, Dan
I knew it was someone
head
different.
editor. Tom's voice is completely gone. It's a little dead. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So you have me today, which, boy howdy, what an exciting moment for you, for me, and you going to twitch.tv.
I knew I didn't recognize. I knew the voice was different.
I can still do the plug, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I've had a hankering for some Poppy Playtime news, and by I mean Tom. Chapter 5 came out in February, but since then, it's been radio silence. No news whatsoever, other than Mob is clearly hiring a buttload of people for the next chapter.
Oh, they didn't know about the multiplayer game yet. Check out my video about that.
Rather than just sitting on his own butt and waiting for something new to show up, Tom spent the last few months diving back into the game to figure out some of the lingering questions he had after finishing the chapter while sitting on his butt. Things like, why did the prototype save us at the end of the chapter? Are the orphans still alive? And what is the prototype planning to do next? Well, loyal theorists, I'm here to report that Tom's found all of the answers to those questions, and it's all thanks to one character. One that he neglected to really talk about in our original run of theories. Fan favorite, Lily Love Braids. Today, I'm going to present 3 mini theories that snowball off each other to create one glorious video. So get your hairbrushes ready, friends, because we're about to detangle the mysteries left behind in chapter 5. Theory number 1, who made Lily? If you don't already know, Lily was one of the most entertaining and confusing parts of chapter 5.
The prototype
she came out of
Lily,
absolutely nowhere, first appearing in a teaser
1468
trailer, after which everyone thought Rumi of K-pop Demon Hunters
But
was
actually, she was
Playtime
first
Code
announced in a
debut.
trademark.
Once we finally met Lily in all of her glory, people immediately fell in love with her and her, let's call it quirky personality.
Our special guest is gonna be thrilled. He's gonna kill them all.
But what was most interesting about her is that
time.
she is one of the first toys we've ever gotten to see alive and well before the whole getting brains stuffed into a toy thing. God, I haven't missed this. During the chapter, we're introduced to Miss Gracie, a staff member of Playtime Co. that was involved in the Bigger Bodies experiment. Her job was simple: make fun Miss Rachel-style videos for the kids and toys.
Hey there, all you lovely lilies.
Sounds pretty wholesome, until you actually watch any of the tapes for more than a few seconds.
Growing up is scary. Let's stay kids forever. Repeat after me. I'm staying here.
Oh my god.
Lots and lots of copium. Naturally, the toys weren't too keen on her, what she did, and what she helped facilitate. So when the hour of joy came around and the toys were going through the factory killing every employee they found, Miss Gracie was target numero uno. But they had slightly different plans for her.
We're not gonna hurt you, Miss Gracie.
Not yet. Some turning her into Lily Love Braids, of course,
as
we
you
all
proceed
know.
through the chapter, we find audio recordings that one of them, well, just listen.
Miss Gracie. Dear Miss Gracie.
Yep,
This first name, what was it? What are we talking about, Miss Gracie? Is this another lesson?
The prototype and his followers turned Miss Gracie into Lily. We even find her own skeleton on the bed in her dollhouse with a huge hole in her head from where they took out her brain and put it into Lily. This, however, raised an eyebrow or two in the community, because during this chapter, we're shown something that seems to contradict this idea. You see, the prototype, he kind of sucks at making living toys. Experiment notes can be found in the study room, and it tells us about some of the prototype's early experimentations, all of which did not go so well. Quote, pus on the plush skin, bubbling, throat gurgled as he drew his first breath, stitching unraveled, eyes wild.
I don't know if I got that,
blood oozed onto the table.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Breath, a third, a fourth, a fifth. There was no 6. Wow, excuse me while I go vomit. Those poor kids. And we saw how his good friend Preston turned out, a mixed mash of parts and a complete look of horror in his eyes. However, when we look at Lily, she's pretty much a perfect specimen like any other bigger body. She's not gross or falling apart, at least physically, but it was made pretty clear that the prototype made her what she is. Even though she's considered his enemy, she seemed to get a pretty good deal on the body front. It didn't help that we also have notes from the Playtime co-scientists talking about Lily's creation and the experiments happening in Sweet Street, Lily's home. So what is going on? In the How to Maintain Your Human VHS, if you paused on this screen, you could see words that are a little cut off. But they say, this video
28.
is sponsored by whatnot. Wait, that can't be right. And they're also helping us by giving away. So happy. I swear, I leave for like 1 year and everything is just... Anyway, well, like I was saying, the words are a little cut off, but they say Experiment 28 of Class 2, 1997.
Which, of course,
the
would be
experiments the
prototype
prototype was making
experiments.
was this new generation of toys, Class 2, as
the
opposed to the
wrong side
numbers we're
animals.
used to dealing with. But Lily clearly doesn't fit this category for a few reasons.
Because she's 1468.
The date, 1997, is way too late to involve Lily. I brought this up earlier, but listen to the audio log of Lily speaking to herself after her transformation.
My hands, plastic. My face. I thought. Oh, embarrassing.
Yep.
I can't believe I thought you were actually in the room, Miss Gracie. Egg on my face.
Well, this recording is titled 96 Isolation Day 122. The first number obviously referring to the year 1996, a year before the Class 2 experiments. However, this also confirms that Lily's surgery happened after all the Playco
But yeah, that
scientists
note
were
I have
already
not
gone.
found
If
in
we
the
count
game,
back
which is crazy, but there are 35 notes. But I found most of them. I don't know where that one's
she could have
at.
been transformed was September 1st, 1995.
Yeah, that
almost
works.
a month after
Yup,
the
that
Hour of
makes
Joy.
sense.
So it definitely wasn't the scientist.
It was
but
the
it wasn't part of Class
prototype.
2. Could it
There's
have
a
been
note that
Harley?
even
He
confirms
is
that.
helping the prototype.
Well, yeah.
I'm still your best shot
At
at
cracking that secret.
Sadly, it's not him either, because in the experiment note, it mentions Harley coming to help by Experiment 15, again in 1997, well after Lily was created. So the only person left is the prototype, but as we've established, Lily cannot be a part of his Class 2 experiments. So then what's going on? Well, the answer comes from this document, Experiment
it's
1468.
yes, this is what I was talking about.
Experiment 1468 is Lily. And
Yup.
here, the Playco scientists are talking about how they're planning on making Lily's hair. It's dated August 6, 1995, but it states the surgery to bring Lily to
Would be the
life was planned
22nd
for
or
August
20th.
1995. Obviously,
After
this
the Hour of
surgery
Joy.
didn't go down as planned, as only 2 days after this was written, 12 days surgery was scheduled,
Yup.
the Hour of Joy happened. But the real takeaway from this is that the physical form of Lily was likely all ready to go.
Yup,
before the
that's what I
prototype went on a
assumed.
rampage. This implication is also
That's what's
backed
kind of
up
annoying
by
me about
these
this theory,
X-rays
because I
we
kind
see
of feel like
Pat
it's
Matthew
obvious
got in
for
the chapter
Lily
5
Love
of the
Braids.
ARG. It's a little blurry and hard to read because, of course it is, but with some squinting, you can make out some of the terms. On the bottom, I can make out a refillable gas
This was
storage
from the
container.
ARG?
Then on the text that points to his arms,
like
it
cat
says
now.
scaffolding made from SAE 316L
I'm about to be 9
stainless
minutes
steel.
into
Above that, it
recording,
says
8 minutes, 52 seconds, about to be 10 minutes into the video.
Editor, please put this on screen. Intraesophageal gas exchange. I hope I said that correctly. Then the arrow on the mouth says mouth covering. To make any bigger body, it would have taken months of research and development before a final surgery is even feasible. This is even referenced in the orientation
okay.
notebook.
Yep.
If you go to the employee
PW.
calendar at the end of the book,
I
on
have
March
that book.
6th, you'll see Preston wrote scheduled labs for experiment 1467.
So, yeah,
That's
they took a
the
little
previous
break.
experiment number to Lily, meaning at minimum, they've been working on her body for 5 months. Playtime Co. made as much of the body as they could before needing to involve the children being transferred. That's why Lily isn't counted as part of Class 2. Her body was already created by Playtime Co. It already had everything it needed, the mix of biology and inorganic components, the correct mix of growth medium and negation formula. All the prototype needed to do was just use the systems and procedures that already existed and put Miss Gracie's brain into it. And boom, bingo bango, Lily Love Braids. Bingo bango? What are you talking about, Tom? After this point, he ran out of pre-made bodies, and that's when he struggled, as suddenly he had to do every part of the process himself, not just the brain transfer. Now, I will say there is this very confusing document you can also find called Observation Log Sweet Street, which discussed the adjustment of a toy after conversion. Believe me, this is their home, and toys surrounding them are actually their
Jessica
friends,
Newman.
which sounds like crazy old Lily.
They smell like dead bodies. Well, that's not a nice thing to say, Candy.
However, this is written by Jessica Newman,
Who
is one of the
based
scientists
off,
we
yep,
saw
on that
killed
ARG
in the
video
build-up
by
to
the
Chapter
prototype.
5. So this
I remember
report
that.
has to be before the Hour of Joy, and
Although
likely
I
means it's
remember
about
reacting
a
to those
different
before
toy.
Chapter
That
5.
Sweet Street was just used as a rehabilitation facility for toys once they've first been transformed. It may seem obvious, but I have seen a lot of people bringing this up when they're talking about the topic. So I wanted to make sure, or rather Tom wanted to make sure I covered it. But after figuring this out, some of the evidence got Tom thinking about another mystery, and then he wrote 2 more mini theories. Theory number 2. What happened to the orphans? This has been something that has plagued theorists since the release of Chapter 5. We spent the last few chapters hearing from Poppy that they're sleeping, hidden down in the depths of Playtime Co. But
Of the
when asked about it
laboratories in
directly
particular.
Chapter 5, all we get was this response.
They're a better place. Probably the Playtime
Tom talked
Co.
about
City
this
that
line
we're going to
last
see in
time.
Chapter
The
6, probably.
capitalization seems to be implying this better place is a
11:30 right
name,
now.
a physical place, but it also felt like a play on the idea of death. When you tell someone they're in a better place, that would typically been taken to mean they're dead. But then we got this CG5 official music video that shows a shot of the children alive in the facility. So there's been a lot of discussion about whether the orphans are alive and sleeping like Poppy believed, and whether that's in this better place, or was the play on words intentional and these kids have been long gone. During the last theory, Tom suggested it was the latter, as during the CG5 song, the prototype is
I forgot to react to that one, my bad.
something we've already talked about him doing today, and for that he needs human.
Was that the one that they showed though?
Song, the prototype is then seen continuing the experiments, something we've already talked about him doing today, and for that he needs human test subjects. We also talked about that's in this better place, or was the play on words intentional and these kids have been long gone? During the last theory, Tom suggested it was the latter, as during the CG5 song, the prototype is lonely. In the experiment note, he says, "I won't be alone." So he wants more orphans like him to become immortal like him. Now, I still think this is true, mostly because Tom told me and I take his authority over anything else because he is the Poppy Playtime guy. I trust him with my life. That is my bro. Nothing has been released to prove Tom otherwise. But as he sat with it for a few months, he realized it's a little more complicated and nuanced than just he turned them into toys. In the same part of the note where he says, "I won't be alone," he says that he's figured out how to keep these orphans turn toys alive. They walk and talk and everything, but he also claims he's no closer to the immortality he desires for them. They will all still die eventually. And according to Harley,
you have no staff, virtually no test subjects.
He goes on
says
to
that in
ask
Chapter
for
4.
lab access. At the time, Tom thought this because that's where the orphans were, and so he could actually perform more experiments on live subjects. However, the orphans aren't in the labs. They're in the better place. And these experiments were on the orphans as it was. It's not like there were any other options down here. So if he was running out, he was actually running out of orphans. So why ask for labs access? Because there's something else that exists in the labs that we only find at the end of the chapter. The data center. This is where we're actually reintroduced to Harley,
the doctor.
a data backup version of him. Now, Harley has been a digital consciousness for a while, so finding a backup of him isn't the most surprising thing. But what is surprising is that we learned this isn't what this technology was supposed to be used for. A note from Harley to Leaf talks about Harley having a pet project alongside his work on the bigger bodies. It's a neural mapper that allows them to essentially record a subject's memory and store it. Not only that, if they had enough proteins and lipids, they would be able to repeat this process as many times as they want. He brings this up because he doesn't feel like using the orphans is going to be sustainable long term. Eventually, they will run out. Interesting. This isn't just about storing someone's memories in a computer like they did with him. When he's talking about lipids and and proteins, he's talking about literally recreating physical brains that they can then put into toys. This
So,
is what is
cloning?
stored in the data center deep in the labs.
got a
And that
text,
is what Harley wants access to. He's back in the same situation as he was before. He's running out of subjects, and so he needs access to the orphan's memory files so he can continue. But the prototype refuses because he doesn't trust Harley with the orphans in any capacity, be they real or simply memory scans. However, that doesn't mean the prototype isn't using them. The prototype is running out of options. He started out using the adults like Preston in his experiments, but he notes in the x-rays that children have more plasticity, making them easier to work with and more likely
Yep, I
to
remember
survive.
that.
But now it's
That was in
been
that
10
one. Not the
years. If the
tape, but the,
toys are struggling to survive, there's no
audio
way
message.
the orphans aren't as well. So rather
But
than let
when you
them
get the
die
magnets
before
in
he can
chapter
figure out
5.
the answers to infinity, he scans their brains so he can continue to experiment on them, trying again and again to turn them into perfect toys like him. That may also be why we see giant toys like Braun eating growth medium. We thought it acted
Well,
as
the
a
grab
food
pack?
supply for the toys, but maybe
yeah.
it was also a source of proteins and lipids that could be used to create more brains to transplant the memories of the children into the experiments again. I mean, why else show us this very distinct piece of information if nothing was going to come of it? Sure, the brain scan explains Harley still being alive, but the stuff about lipids and proteins and long-term sustainability feels too similar to the current issue to not be something important. And that, I think, actually helps us answer the final lingering mystery Tom had.
Which one?
Theory number 3.
Yep.
Why
That's what I
save
thought.
us? At the end of chapter 5, the prototype
This is
stabs
like- could
us,
have been
as he is
3
prone
different
to do,
videos,
but
though.
rather than letting us die, he picks us up and carries us over to a vat of poppy gel and dumps us in. The original
Yep.
purpose of this gel was to encourage cellular regeneration and tissue growth, which is what was then used to bring the experiments to life, forcing cells of their body to grow and fill the toy bodies, creating living creatures. However, the cellular growth also seems to work on us, as we are pulled out of the vat and given a little shock from Giblet, just like the rats in
Giblet.
experiment 814.
Yep.
And with that, we're back. Still injured, note the red vignette and the heartbeat sound, but we're alive.
Yeah, from the
when we
patch.
shouldn't be. The poppy gel did its job, but then why would the prototype do this? He actively despises us. We ruined everything he was planning, and he also knows the power of the poppy gel. It's what brought him and Poppy to life, made them immortal, and is still using it to try and create more experiments today. So he knew it would save us. Why cause himself more trouble in the upcoming chapters? Because, like I've been saying, he's
Chapters.
running out of options, and he's desperate. In the big climactic scene at Lily's tea party, where we finally meet the prototype
11:37
face to face,
PM.
something happens. Something even the prototype
When he breaks
didn't
the
expect.
Poppy's
He picks
face.
up Poppy by the head, once again going off on how they're so perfect, how they could be so much more, and that he will show her the truth and make
can
her
make you
feel better. He smashes her little porcelain head, but look at his reaction. His head pulls back and shakes slightly, almost like
Surprise.
he's in disbelief. He didn't expect Poppy to be able to shatter like that. She was Elliot's perfect creation. Both of them were supposed to be immortal. That's why he's going on this endeavor to begin with, so that he won't be alone anymore. But this moment doesn't just shatter Poppy, it shatters that entire premise. The prototype already knew that he was running out of time.
Time is precisely what we
Yeah.
don't have.
But now he realized that Poppy isn't immortal. She can be broken, which means he can also be broken. If he breaks or dies, he will never have gotten the better place he was promised,
Yep.
and neither will any of the orphans he promised it to, which is where we come in. This whole ordeal puts a massive speed up on the already tight timer the prototype had, and with that, he needs to find the solution for immortality fast. But nothing so far has been working. He's been working with brain scans and lab-grown brains for
And even
a
the doctor.
long time, but he's no closer to infinity. So when he realizes that neither he nor Poppy are infinite, he decides that desperate times call for desperate measures. What do you do in an experiment when something isn't working? You change a variable. That variable is us. As I've mentioned, adults like us are not the ideal for any kind of experimentation. We don't have the plasticity, but In his experimentation notes, he says during experiment 8 that keeping something submerged makes it more pliable. He's getting us ready for experimentation to turn us into a toy, to see if a flesh, living subject with their original brain can help him find the secrets to immortality at last. He did say he was going to turn.
But hey, this is just a theory. Game theory, right? Is that what's about to come?
During the Chapter 5 ARG, he said, each one is an example made, each one a malcontent punished. Just as the toy surgery can be used to bless those he deems worthy, it can also be used as a better, more effective way to punish those who stand against him. But why not kill two birds with one stone and punish us while also figuring out the secret to immortality while you're at it? Though we won't be going down without a fight. Not just because that would make a really bad story, but because if you actually read what happens to humans that are subjected to this growth medium, there's a lot of weird stuff that can happen. Like hives, partial dislocation, or mixing of senses. But then there's the really weird stuff like heterotopic ossification, the abnormal growth of bone in areas it should not typically exist, such as muscles and tendons. Or there's the non-biological to biological grafting, i.e. non-alive things fusing to your body. We're going to become some kind of absolute monster, the likes of which even the prototype hasn't seen. I suspect Giblet and Poppy will spend most of the next chapter asking, "Are you all right? You don't look so good." I guess it's a good thing we can't see ourselves in these games. But hey, that's just a theory.
What the last chip in the bag sees at 2. Oh, I get it.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.
World premiere on Game Theory.
Who do we play as?
Yeah, we reacted to that one. But if you guys want me to react to more game theory videos, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, more Probably Playtime videos coming soon. Yeah, bye now.